Good morning, students. In today's session, I am going to start the second unit. Right? The second unit is consisting of array as an abstract data type, string is how we are going to implement this string as an abstract data type, polynomial abstract data type, space matrix, here introduction to data structures, abstract data, how we are going to use abstract data types to implement the data structure just like stacks, queues, and how we are going to implement the stack using arrays and queue using arrays, what type of operations we are going to perform on stacks and queues, and what type of various types of functions we are going to use to implement stack and queues. And next is evaluation of expressions. Here generally expressions are, there are three types of expressions are there: infix, prefix and postfix, and how you are going to implement infix, prefix, postfix expressions, how we are going to convert the how you are going to convert the infix to prefix or infix to postfix expressions, how we are going to evaluate the expressions. Next, inheritance, already you know the inheritance concept. Next is subtyping and inheritance, how we are going to implement the subtyping and inheritance. This is the content of second unit. Here in this session I am going to start the second unit. First one is the abstract data type. What do you mean by abstract data type? Here already you know what you mean by data type. Data type means what type of information we are going to store in that particular data. For example, I am going to declare int a. For example, I am going to declare int a. What does it mean, int a? See, int a. For example, here I am going to declare int a. What does it mean? Here int a means a is a variable, right? A is a variable of integer type. A is a variable of integer type. It means that we are going to store the integer values 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. This type of integer values we are going to store in the variable a. Is it right? Here, now, if I am going to declare any floating point number, character, or double, whatever it may be, depending upon the data type only, we are going to storing the information, right? Here, how we are going to store the information in that particular variable, we don't know. Right? In the same way, abstract data type means here it is a type. Abstract data type is a type or it is a class. We can implement, we can treat it as a class or we can treat it as a data type, right? Here in this abstract data type, just we are going to deal with the object behavior. Object behavior is defined by a set of values and the set of operations. Just in abstract data type, we are going to dealing with the data type or object. Here in this case, we are going to defining the behavior of the particular object, or what type of value we are going to store in that particular objects, or what type of operations we can perform on the objects are going to define by the abstract data type. In this case, we are not going to check how this data types or how this set of operations and what is the behavior of that particular data type or object are not going to define by the abstract data type. This is the main difference between the normal data type and the abstract data type. In abstract data type, just we are going to define the set of values or set of operations are going to carried out by that particular data type. Here we are not going to discuss about how that particular operations are going to be implemented. Just we are going to define, just we are going to declaring or defining what type of operations are going to be carried out. Here we are not going to defining how that particular operations are going to be implemented, right? Here all these things are comes under the abstract data type. Here in abstract data types, it is only mentions what operations are to be performed, but not how these operations will be implemented, and it does not specify how data will be organized in memory and what type of algorithms will be used for implementing the operations. Here see, here in integer a, in int a is the int a means we are going to, here user knows that 2 bytes of memory is required to store the variable a. User knows that 2 bytes of memory is required to store the variable a, right? In the same way, here whenever we are going to declare any a as an abstract data type, a as an abstract data type, here user doesn't know how the memory is going to organized, how the memory is going to allocated to that particular variable a, how the memory is going to allocated to that particular variable a, right? One more thing, if I am going to implement any algorithm, if I am going to try to implement any algorithm using abstract data type, here I don't know how that particular operations are going to be carried out. I know that here this type of operation is going to be carried out by using this algorithm. For example, stack, inserting any element into this stack. How you are going to insert any element into the stack? First of all, we have to check whether the stack is full or not. First of all, we have to check whether the stack is full or not. If the stack is full, we can't insert any element into this stack. If the stack is empty, if the stack is having any position, any empty location, in that particular case we can insert an element into the particular stack, right? In the same way here, in this case here, if I am going to declare general stack, if I am going to declare a general stack, in that particular case I know how I am going to implement this stack. Either I am going to implementing the integer stack, floating point stack, or character stack, whatever it may be. Here what type of operations I am going to perform. For example, in this example I am saying the inserting the element into the stack. I know that how I am going to insert the element, what type of operations I am going to perform on that particular stack to insert an element into the stack. But whereas if I am going to declare stack is an abstract data type, in that particular case here I don't know how that particular algorithm is going to be implemented for the operation, how that particular algorithm is going to be implemented for inserting an element into this stack, right? That is the reason this type of algorithm, this type of definition of class is defined as abstract. Here just it is going to give the implementation and independent view. This process of providing only the essentials and hiding the details known as the abstraction. Just abstract data type or abstract data class. Abstract class is going to give the information essential which is going to be useful to the user. That particular information can be viewed by the user, remaining information is going to be hide in that particular class only. So this concept is known as the abstraction concept. Right? Here generally the user of the data type doesn't need to know how the data type is implemented, right? How that particular data type is going to implement it. For example, I am going to write integer, so in the integer, float, character is there. Here user know that if I am going to, I am the user 1, here I am going to declare int a. It means that here user know that only integer variables can be stored in that particular data type, in that particular variable a. If I am going to declare float b, what does it mean? It means that here floating point values are going to store in the variable b. Floating point data variables are going to store in the variable b. For example, if I am going to declare char c, what does it mean? Here only character values are going to store in the variable c. Here whenever the user is going to declare any variable data type, then he knows that what type of data is going to store in that particular variable, but what type of operations we can perform on that particular variable. For example, here b is there. For example, here I am going to give one example, int a is there, right? Here for example, I want to find out the factorial of a given number a. So I am going to performing the operation factorial on the variable a. I am going to performing the factorial operation on the variable a, right? Here in that particular case, here I am going to assign a equals to 4. So easily we can find the factorial of 4. Why? Because here a is an integer variable. Suppose float b is there. In that particular case, I want to find the factorial of b. Is it possible to find the factorial of b? No. Why? Because here floating point number is there. If I am going to give 4.2, is it possible to find the factorial of a given number? No. So here whenever the user is going to declare any variable as integer or float or character, whatever it may be, here user knows what type of operations we can perform on that particular variable and what type of data we are going to store in that particular variable. User must be know, right? And here I am going to declare int a. Int a means system is going to allocate the 2 bytes of memory to the variable a. System is going to allocate 2 bytes of memory to the variable a. Here float b. Float b means system is going to allocate 4 bytes of memory to the variable b, right? Character. Character means system is going to allocate system is going to allocate this 1 byte of memory to that particular variable, right. Here in that particular case, here user know what type of information, how much memory is going to be given to that particular variable A, but user does not know how that particular memory is going to assigned by the system. User does not know how that particular memory is going to be assigned, where that particular memory is assigned to that particular variable, how that information is going to store, all those things are not going to be known to the user. So user only needs to know what a data type can do, but now not how it will be implemented. A user does not know how that particular data type is going to be implemented, how that memory is allocated to that particular data type, and the how the variable is user know what type of information is going to be stored in that particular variable, user know what type of information is going to be stored in that particular variable. Int A means integer value, float B means floating point value, char C means only character values are going to store in that particular variable, but user does not know how that particular data is going to store in the memory. Implementation does not know by the user, right. This is just like abstract data type. This is known as the abstract data type. For example, here we can also we don't know how these particular variables, we don't know how these particular variables going to be, memory is going to assign to these variables, right here. But whereas here in ADT just we know what type of value we are going to store and how that particular information is not going, how that particular information is going to be implemented in that particular variable we doesn't know, right. Means that's just like this one here. ADT means here just like a black box which hides the inner structure and design of the data type, which hides the inner structure and design of the data type. Here we know this is the box, generally we know this is the box, this box is consisting of what type of information is present in that particular box, we know each and every information, but here how that particular structure, how that particular data is arranged in this particular box we don't know, user doesn't know how that particular information is stored in that particular box and how we are going to implement those things, how we are going to put, how we are going to implement it, those functions or classes are not going to be seen to the outside world. This is the abstract data type, and we can here we can implement stacks, queues, linked list, arrays, strings, all those things we can implement by using the abstract data type. This is very important concept. What do you mean by abstract data types, right? Now I am going to implement the array as an abstract data type. I am going to implement the array as an abstract data type. Here what do you mean by array? Array is a data structure. Here array is a data structure in which we can store the elements, right? Yeah. For example, int A is there. Int A, what does it mean? Here A is a variable, right? A is a variable, right? We can store 10 value, in the single variable A, right? Just I'll give the difference between the normal variable and the array variable, right? A is there, int A at 101 memory location, variable of value of 10 is going to be stored in that particular variable A. Whereas whenever I am going to give any array means array is also the variable, but it is going to store multiple values. It is in a single variable, we can store multiple values in a single variable. Yeah, just like int A of 10, what does it mean? System is going to allocate 10 memory locations to that particular variable A. System is going to allocate 10 continuous memory locations to this variable A. Here, for example, at 101, always array index is going to start from 0, A of 0. If A of 0 is going to store at 101 memory location, if A of 0 is going to store at 101 memory location, then A of 1 is going to store at 103 memory location. Why? Because here we are taking the integer variable. Why? Because here we are taking the integer variable. If A of 2 is there, A of 2 is going to store at 105 memory location. Now A of 2, if for example A of 3 is going to store at 107 memory location. Here in arrays, it is going, array is a variable in which we can store the values in a continuous memory locations, in a continuous memory location. Generally here it is very easy to declare the array, it is very easy to declare the array, and here user knows that here we are going to give the continuous memory locations to that particular variable A, but in some cases whenever we are going to implement this array by using the abstract data type, we can easily retrieve the information which is present in that particular array. We can easily retrieve the information which is present in that particular array. How we are going to retrieve the information? See here, for example, here array is there, this is the array 1, 2, 3, 4, array size is 4, 10, 11, 12, 13 is there, 10, 11, 12, 13 is there. So this is A of 0, A of 1, A of 2, A of 3 is there. So int A of 4, size is 4. So what type of value is it consisting of? 10, 11, 12, 13, 10, 11, 12, 13 is there, right? And there is a set here. To retrieve the information, to get the information 12, is it possible to get the information 12 directly? No, we have to read each and every element which is present in the array. First we have to go for the 10, then 11, then 12, then only we can retrieve the information 12. If it is a general array, then here whenever we are going to declare any array as array A as abstract data type, then by using the pair, set of pair index comma value, such that each index that is defined as a value associated with it, we can assign the values depending upon the index. We can add the information and we can delete the information and we can retrieve the information. We can add the information and we can delete the information and we can retrieve the information from the array. Here in general we can't add any data to the particular array. In general we can't add to the data particular array, but whenever we are going to declaring an array as an abstract data type, in that particular case by using the index value, we can add the value, we can assign the value, we can add the value to that particular array, and in the same way we can delete the value from that particular array, and in the same way we can retrieve the information from the array. In general, if any array is not an abstract data type, to retrieve the information is very difficult to retrieve the information from the array. To retrieve the information, we have to read each and every element which is present in the array. Right? Whereas whenever we are going to declare any array as an abstract data type, in that particular case, by using the index of that particular array, we can easily retrieve the information from the array and we can easily insert the element into that particular array, and we can easily delete the element from that particular array by using the index value, right? Generally this thing is known as the mapping. In mathematical terms we can say this is the mapping. Mapping is done by in the array abstract data type. Mapping is done in abstract data type. See here, this is mapping. This is known as the mapping. Mapping means just we are going to mapping with the index and the value. Just we are going to mapping with the index and the value. Here, whenever we are going to implement any data type as an abstract data type, then we can perform various types of operations on that particular array. We can perform various types of operations on that particular array. Here in this case, here I am implementing this array as an abstract data type. In that particular case, I am going to use two operations. First one is this. First one is there, one is the retrieving the information, and second one is the we can store the information in that particular array. Here in C++, we can implement the array as an abstract data type. Here whenever we are going to declare any data type as an abstract data type, in that particular case, we can perform various types of operations: insertion, deletion, traversing, and inserting at the beginning, deleting at the end, inserting in the middle, all those things we can perform on the abstract data types, all those operations we can perform on the abstract data type. But here I am implementing the array, here I am implementing the array by using the abstract data type in C++. In that particular case, I am going to perform only two standard operations. That is, first one is the retrieving the information from the array, second one is the storing the information in that particular array. First one is the retrieving the information. See here, retrieving means accessing, retrieving means accessing the information from the array, accessing the information. Accessing the information, and storing means we are going to store at a particular memory location. Storing means just we are going to store the element in a particular memory location. We are going to store the information in a particular memory location, right? Here, array already up to here. Again, I am going to repeat what do you mean by array. Before implementing the array as an ADT, array is a variable which is used to store the values in a continuous memory location in a single variable. We are going to store multiple values in a single variable. Generally, array index is going to start from 0. Why? Because array index is going to start from 0. So, for example, array size is 4 means here a of 0, a of 1, a of 2, a of 3. In that particular memory location, we are going to store the values in that particular array. Whenever we are going to assigning the values 1, 2, 3, 4 for an array a of 4 size, first one value is going to store at a of 0, 2 value is going to store at a of 1, 3 value is going to store at a of 2, 4 value is going to store at a of 3. Right? If I am going to try to insert fifth element into that particular array, if the array size is 4, then it is not possible to insert the element into that particular array. Why? Because array size is 4 only. Array size is 4. Right? Here. Now we can implement the array. We can implement the array in terms of ADT also. Here, in this particular case, we are going to use this pair concept. In the particular pair concept, we are going to use index value and value. Here index means it will give the array index, value means it is going to give the value of that particular index. See here, for example, my index is 1. Here my index is 1. Yeah, what type of value here, what type of value is present here? 11 values here. So at index 11, value is 11. At index 1, value is 11. For example, at index 2, what is the value of index 2? 12. By using the pair concept, value pair concept, we are going to implement the array concept in ADT, right? Here we can perform various types of operations on the abstract data type: insertion, deletion, traversing, searching, sorting. All these operations we can perform on the ADT. Here in this concept, in this arrays concept, we are going to use only two operations. First one is the retrieving the information, second one is the storing the information in a particular memory location. We are going to use two standard operations while I am going to implement the array as a ADT. See here, ADT shows a class definition of the array. Whenever we are going to implement any array ADT, we have to use the classes. See here, in this case, I am going to use this general class concept. Here, I am going to use this general class concept, general array. Here, I am defining one array, that is general array. Class general array is there. Here in this case, here all these are comment lines. See here, this is the comment line, this is the comment line, this is also the comment line, this is also the comment line. Generally, comments are going to start with the two backslashes. First, object. Here object is a set of pairs index comma value, where for each value of index in the index set there is a value of type float. Here in the index, here we are going to store the index value in the index set. We are going to store the index value in the index set. Index set is a finite order set of one or more. Here index set is an array. Index set is an array. It is having the one or more number of values, right? Dimensions are here. Dimensions are array index. Both are same. Here 0 to n. here for example, if we are going to implement the single array, one dimensional array, here already you know what are the different types of arrays. One dimensional array, second one is two dimensional array, third one is the multi-dimensional array. Already you know these things, right? One dimensional array we are going to use only one subscript. In one dimensional array we are going to use only one subscript, right? In two dimensional array we are going to use two subscripts. In multi-dimensional array we are going to use n subscripts. Here in one subscript we are going to, one subscript means we are going to use only one value here, index. Here two subscripts means we are going to use two index. Multi means we are going to use more number of subscriptions, right? Here we can implement the ADT and a single dimensional array or two dimensional array or multi-dimensional array. We can implement the array ADT, abstract data type, and an array on a single one dimensional array or two dimensional array or multi-dimensional array. If we are going to use this one dimensional array, so what is the dimensions of one dimensional array? 0 to n, 0 to n. We can store n number of values. Here if two dimensional array are there, then 0 0 0 1 0 2 1 0 1 1 1 2 2 0 2 1 2 2 3 0 3 1 3 2. Here 4 0 up to n cross n dimensions will be there for the n two dimensional array. If it is 0, if it is 2, 0 0 1 0 0 0 0 1 0 2. If it is 3, 0 1 0 2 0 3, in this format all these dimensions will be there. If n multi-dimensional array, then in multi-dimensional array, if it is a three dimensional array, then n cross n cross n will be there, n cross n cross n will be there, right? This is the multi-dimensional array. Here in this case index value is there, index set is a finite ordered set of one or more n number of values are going to present in the index set. N number of values are going to present in the index set. Yes. Now here general array, here what is this? This is the constructor. Here I am defining one constructor here, general array. General array is in one constructor. In that particular constructor, here I am going to defining one. Yeah, this is the parameterized constructor. Already you know the constructor. What do you mean by constructor? Constructor is a method. Constructor is a method which is having the class name, which is having the name as the class name. Here, so what is my class name? Here my class name is general array. Then what is my constructor? Constructor is also the general array. Constructor is also the general array. Here see here, general array is there. In the here in this case int j is the variable. This is the parameterized constructor. So j is the variable. Next is the range list. List. Here I am going to defining one list. That is the range list. Here next one is the float init value. Float init value means here I am going to defining one variable, init value variable. Data type of init variable is float. So here we are assigning the default value. Right? Here in class array, here general array, I am implementing the array as an abstract data type. In that particular array, here I am giving one example, that is the general array. My class name is general array. First I am going to write this one. Here general array constructor, parameterized constructor. In this one j is the variable, list is the variable, init is a float variable, and we are assigning the default value to the init value, right? Here in this case the constructor general array creates a j dimensional array of floats. The range of the kth dimension is giving the kth element of the list, right? For each index I in the index set, insert I comma init value into the array. Here we can insert in the ith index value by using the init value, or else we can insert it at fourth position, we can insert at fifth position, we can insert in the eighth position. Init value means that is the default value what we are going to assigning to that particular memory location, to that particular value, to that particular location, what type of value we are going to assigning, that is going to be assigned by using the init value. At ith memory location we are going to store the value. See here, for example, this is the array. 0, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. At 5 location, 5, I am going to assigning 30 value. So insert 5 comma 30, insert 5 comma 30, or else means 30 value is going to assign at 5th memory location. For example, insert 339, it means that at third position 39 value is going to be inserted, right. In this format we are going to inserting the value by using the insert I index value, right. This is the general array. Next one is retrieving the information. How we are going to retrieve the here, this is the constructor concept, right. This is the constructor concept. Next one is the float. Here in this array ADT, we can perform two basic operations. One is the retrieving the operation, second one is the storing the operation, right. In retrieving the operation, float retrieve index I. Here if I is the index set of the array, return the float associated with I in the array, else signal an error retrieving the information. For example, here retrieving means what type of information is present in that particular memory location is going to be given by the retrieve function. For example, see here, this is the an array 10, 11, 18, 5, 25, 23, 0, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Array size is 6. Array size is 6. Array index is going to start from 0 to 5. Now, here retrieving the information means if my index value is 3, if my I value is 3, index value is 3. So, I am going to retrieve the information 5 from this array. I am going to retrieve the information 5 from this array, right. Here, if I want to retrieve the information which index value is 8, I equals to 8. My array size is 6. So, array index is going to start from 0 to 5, right. Yeah, I want to retrieve this 8th information. Is it possible to retrieve the 8th information? No. Why? Because array size is 6. This array is consisting of only 6 elements. Array is consisting of only 6 elements. So, now user is going to retrieve the 8th element from the array. User is going to retrieve the 8th element from the array, but 8th element is not present in that particular array. That's the reason it is going to give one error. It is going to give the error, that is element is not present in that particular element is not present in that particular array, right. Element is not present in that particular array, it is going to give the error I equals to 8, right. Here next one is a void store index I comma float x. If I is the index set of array, delete any pair from I comma y present in the array and insert new pair I comma x, else signals an error. Storing the information means, for example, here this is the array. In that particular array, zero, 1, 2, 3 is there. Now, I want to store some information, I want to store some AT information in that particular array. Is it possible to store the AT information in this array? No. Why? Because already elements are fixed in that particular array. Array size is 4. So, already 4 elements are present. Already 4 elements are present in that particular array. Already 4 elements are present in that particular array. So, in that particular case, here we can't store this AT element in this particular array. We can't store this AT element in that particular array. For this reason, first of all, we have to delete n element from the array. First of all, we have to delete an element from the array. Then we are going to storing the information in that particular array. See here, it is there. So, first I am going to delete this 30. What is my I value, index value? What is my index value? Index value is 2. My index value is 2 and I am going to deleting this 30, right. Next, I am going to I can insert this 80 value here now. I want to insert this 80 value here, means first of all I have to delete this one. then I have to insert this 80 in this case. So, here what is my index value? Index value is 2. What is my new inserted value? New inserted value is 80. 2 comma 80. 2 comma 80 is going to insert it at second memory location. At second memory location, we are going to assign the 80 value in this case. Now, first we have to delete this element from this particular memory location, then we are going to assigning new value to that particular memory location, then we are going to assigning the new value to that particular memory location, right. This is the abstract data type of an array. Here we can perform two types of operations on the array. First one is the retrieving the information from the array, next one is the storing the information in that particular specified memory location. Here retrieving the means we are going to accessing the information which is present in the particular array. We can access the information at a particular memory location. Storing means we can store the value in a particular memory location. No need to adjust or no need to modify that particular complete array. Here directly we can access the particular memory location and directly we can store the value in that particular memory location, in this particular specified memory location. If the memory location is not free, in that particular case we are going to deleting the information which is present in that particular memory location, then we are going to adding the new information into that particular array. If memory location is free, in that particular case just we are going to storing the information in that particular array by using the index value. We must know the index value where we are going to storing the information, from where we are going to retrieving the information from the array. We must know the index value. This is the concept of array using ADT. So, yeah. Next one is the strings. We can implement these strings. We can implement these strings as an abstract data type. We can implement this string as an abstract data type. Here in this, here, what do you mean by string? String is a collection of characters. String is a collection of characters. For example, here I am going to write char A, char C. Char C means here C is the character data type. So I can store A value, I can store B value, I can store C value, or I can store X value in that particular variable C, right. Here it is not possible to store X comma Y value in that particular variable C. Why? Because here C is a character data type. C is a character data type, XY is the string. Here generally whenever we are going to represent string, we have to use the double quotes. We have to use the double quotes. To represent a character, we are going to use the single quotes. To represent a string, we are going to use the double quotation marks, right. String is a collection of characters. Collection of characters means string is an array of characters. We can say string is an array of characters. String is an array of characters. String is an array of characters. So, char C20. Char C20. It means that 20 characters are present in the string C. Char str140. Char str140 means 40 characters are present in string 1 str1 variable. 40 characters are going to be present in str1 variable. Here generally in this case string is consisting of S0 to Sn variables, where S is the characters taken from the character set of the programming language and N is the length of the string. See here we can implement this string as an array. So whenever we are going to defining the size of the array, it includes that it is going to defining the size of that particular string. Here for example, char str4. Char str4 means char str, write str14, then we are going to write hello. Means this str is consisting of 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 characters. So plus 1, the length of this character is length of the string is 6. Plus 1 indicates the null string, null character. Here length of the string is equivalent of number of characters present in that particular string, and plus 1 is indicating the null string. If the n value is 0, then the string is the null string or empty string. If the n value is 0, if the string, if no character is present in that particular string, then the string is known as the empty string or the null string. And we can perform various types of operations on that particular string. Already I am saying that here string is an array of characters. String is an array of characters. So we can implement this. String is an abstract data type. Here we can perform various types of operations on that particular strings. Here some of the operations are creating a new string, new empty string, or reading a string, or printing a string, or appending two strings together. Here performing the concatenation or copying string from one string to another string. Here this type of various types of operations we can perform on the strings. Here creating a new string, reading the string, writing the string. Here concatenation of two strings, copying one string, overriding the string. Here all those things we can perform, reverse of a given string, all those things we can perform on a strings. All those operations we can perform in the strings. Here in the same way, here also we are going to implementing the string by using the ADT. In this particular case, comparing two strings, inserting a string into substring into a new string, removing a substring from a string, or finding a pattern in a string, all these operations we can perform in string ADT. First one is the comparing with the two strings, right? Here before this string topic we discussed about array topic. In the array we are retrieving the information and we are storing the information. While we are going to implementing the array as an abstract data type, here in this case I am going to representing the string, I am going to represent the string in terms of abstract data type. Then I can perform what type of operations? Comparing a two strings, inserting a substring into the string. Next one is the removing a substring from a string, finding a pattern in a string. This type of operations we can perform on a string abstract data type. See here, same. Here, class string is there. In the class string, name is my string. Here objects, here I am writing one comment here, objects a finite ordered set of 0 or more characters. Finite set of 0 or more characters are going to define as an object. In this case, string character init. Character here, first string is init, next one is m. Here it means that constructor, already class name is string, here also string is there, so it is the constructor of that particular class. So constructor that initialize this to a string init of length m. This here, this is the pointer, this is a pointer pointing to the current pointer variable, this is the pointer which is pointing to the current object or current variable. So here in this case string is init, length of the string is m. First one is in operator double equals to string st. Here in int operator double equals to string t. It means that if the string represented by this equal to t, then it is going to return 1 or else it is going to 0. Here it means that here we are comparing the string. This operation means comparing the strings, comparing the two strings, comparing the two strings. Here operator is there. Here in this case this t is my new string, already init string is present. Here by using this operator we are going to calling the init string. If the init string and t both are equal, then it is going to save the, then it is going to return 1 or else it is going to return 0. Means if both are not equal, then it is going to 0. Here comparing operation is going to done in this string ADT. Here int operator not equals to, this is the empty, then return 1, else return 0, false. Here we are going to checking for the empty string, checking for the empty string. If the checking for the empty string, if the string is here checking for the empty string, if the string is having some characters, then it will return 0. If the string is not having any characters, if the string is null, then it will return the, it will return 1. If it is empty, then it will return 1. If it is not empty, string is not empty, then it is return 0. So checking the empty string by using the operator, exclamatory operator is there, then open parenthesis, close parenthesis means here in this case we are going to check whether the string is empty or not. In first case we are going to checking two strings are equal or not, comparing the two strings. Second case we are checking for the empty string. Third step, int length, return the number of characters which is present in this, which is present in its string. Yeah, length, by using the length function we are going to find the length of the given string. We are going to finding the length of the given string, length of the given string. For example, my string is ABC. What is my length of the string? Length of the string is 4. How this is 4? ABC is 3 characters plus 1. That is the reason 4. Null character is there. We have to add the null character to that particular string. So 3 plus 1 equals to 4. Right? Next one is the string concat. Concatenation of two strings. Return a string whose elements are this followed by the T. Here see here T already in this already init string is there. Again we are having two T strings. So first string plus second string, string 1 plus string 2. So concatenation, union of two strings. By using the concatenation function we are going to find, by using the concatenation function we are going to find the union of two strings. We are going to find the union of two strings. For example, my initial string is ABC. My initial string 1 is ABC. My string 2 is XYZ. This ABC is going to be pointed by this, right? str2 is going to point by T. So whenever I am going to perform concatenation of string 1 comma string 2, my string is ABCXYZ, ABCXYZ, right? Next one is string substring int I comma int j. In this case, return a string containing j characters from this at position I plus 1, I plus 2, I plus j plus minus 1, right? Here, see a substring. For example, see here, my string is this is an example of string ADT. This is my string. Now I want to read only is. I want to read only is. In that particular case, just I am using the substring function, substring int I comma int j, substring int I comma int j. Here, what is my I position? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Here, 5 is the blank space, so 6. Yeah, for example, I want to read this is comma n. So 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. 6 comma 10. So I am going to read the characters which are present in between these two positions, 6 comma 10 positions. So my output is n. My output is n. See here, first th 1, 2, 3, 4 blank spaces, that is indicated by 5. I is, it is located at 6. 6 to 10 is in, right? By using substring function, we are going to find out a substring which is present in that particular string. Next one is the find. Find means return an index I that a pat matches the substring of this that begins at position I and return minus 1 if pat is not either an empty string or substring of this. Here string means here finding a substring, finding a substring. For example, here in this variable, in this string, I am going to write example, whether example is present in my string or not. Here example is present, so here example is present at which memory location? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. For example, 11 or 12 memory location, value of this example is going to be located stored. If the example is not present, then it is going to return minus 1. For example, this is an example of string ADT. Instead of I am going to search for my value is PAT value is for example hello, right? Here I am going to checking for this one whether hello is present in that particular string or not. Whether hello is present in that particular string, no, hello is not present in that particular string, then it will return minus 1, then it will return minus 1, right? This type of operations we can perform on string. This type of operations we can perform on strings. Here string ADT, first one is the comparing the two strings, second one is we are going to check whether the string is empty or not, third one is we are going to check for the length of the given string, fourth one is the concatenation of two string, fifth one is we are going to find out the substring, sixth one is we are going to find the substring, sixth one is we are going to finding the whether any string is present in that particular string ADT or not. All these types of operations we are going to carry out on the string ADT, right. In next class, I am going to discuss about what do you mean by data structure, what type of operations we can perform on the data structures, and how we are going to implement this data structure with an example, right. Right. Thank you.